Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to share with you will change everything you believe about your worth, your value, and the love that's coming your way. Right now, as you're watching this video, there's someone who has been lying awake at night thinking about you. Their heart is racing every time your name crosses their mind. They're afraid to reach out because they think you're too good for them. They see your light, your beauty, your spirit, and they're terrified that if they approach you, you'll reject them. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. God has already ordained this connection. He's been preparing both of your hearts for this divine appointment. The same God who said, "It is not good for man to be alone," has been orchestrating every detail of your love story. Before we dive deep into these life-changing revelations, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now. Don't wait until the end of this video, because you're about to receive breakthrough after breakthrough. This channel has helped millions discover God's heart for relationships and divine love. When you subscribe, you're joining a community of believers who understand that God's love stories are the most beautiful ones ever written. Ring that notification bell, because the content coming your way will transform how you see yourself and the love that's destined for you. I promise you this: by the end of this video, you'll walk away knowing without a shadow of doubt that you are cherished, pursued, and absolutely irresistible in God's eyes. You'll understand why that special someone has been losing sleep thinking about you. You'll discover the divine magnetism that God has placed within you, and you'll learn how to position yourself to receive the love that's been searching for you. This isn't just another relationship video. This is a prophetic word over your love life. So grab your journal, open your heart, and prepare to receive what heaven has been waiting to download into your spirit. Number 1, your light has been haunting their dreams. There's something you need to understand about the spiritual realm and how attraction really works. When God creates a divine connection between two people, it goes far deeper than physical appearance or surface-level compatibility. Your spirit carries a frequency that resonates with theirs on a supernatural level. This person who's been thinking about you isn't just attracted to your outer beauty, though you are absolutely stunning. They're being drawn to the light of Christ that radiates from within you. Every time they close their eyes, they see your smile replaying in their mind like a sacred movie. They remember the way you laughed at something simple and how it lit up the entire room. They can't shake the memory of how peaceful they felt in your presence. This isn't coincidence. This is God's design. When the Lord creates a divine connection, He places a supernatural recognition in both hearts. It's like your spirits are saying to each other, "I know you from somewhere eternal." That's why they can't sleep. That's why your face keeps appearing in their thoughts when they're trying to focus on work. That's why they find themselves daydreaming about conversations they want to have with you. The enemy wants you to think you're being desperate or too hopeful, but the truth is that God is confirming this connection through their restless nights. Every tossing and turning is a testimony that your spirit has made an impact on theirs. Scripture tells us in Ecclesiastes 3:11 that God has set eternity in the human heart. Part of that eternity is the recognition of divine partnerships. Their subconscious mind is processing what their heart already knows. You're not just another person who walked into their life. You're the answer to prayers they've been praying for years. You're the missing piece they didn't even know they were searching for. When they see you, something in their spirit whispers, "There she is." But here's what's keeping them awake: fear. Fear that someone as radiant as you couldn't possibly be interested in them. Fear that they'll mess up their one chance to know you. Fear that you'll see right through their insecurities and walk away. What they don't realize is that God has been preparing you for them just as much as He's been preparing them for you. The very qualities they're intimidated by, your confidence, your peace, your joy, these are gifts God gave you to help heal their wounded places. Your light isn't meant to blind them. It's meant to guide them home to themselves. So when you feel that stirring in your spirit about someone, when you notice they get nervous around you, when you catch them stealing glances, don't dismiss it as wishful thinking. God is showing you the impact you're having on a heart He's entrusted you to help heal their sleepless nights. Are not a burden, they're a bridge God is building between your hearts. Number 2, they see your worth when you can't see it yourself. One of the most beautiful mysteries of divine love is how God uses other people to show us who we really are. Right now, while you're struggling with insecurities and wondering if you're enough, this person is seeing you through heaven's lens. They're not looking at your flaws and finding reasons to walk away. They're seeing your heart and finding a million reasons to stay. Every morning when you look in the mirror and pick yourself apart, they're somewhere thinking about how grateful they are that you exist. When you're worried about not being pretty enough, smart enough, or accomplished enough, they're marveling at qualities in you that you take for granted. They notice how you treat the elderly cashier at the grocery store with such kindness. They remember how you stopped to help that stranger pick up their dropped papers. They've watched you pray over your food and felt something shift in the atmosphere. They see how you light up when you talk about your dreams and how passionate you become when you're helping others. These aren't small things to them, these are confirmations that you carry the heart of God. The devil wants you to believe that you need to become more before you deserve love. But this person is losing sleep because they already see you as more than enough. They're not waiting for you to get your life together or reach some impossible standard. They're afraid they don't measure up to the treasure they see in you. This is how God designed love to work in the kingdom. Real love doesn't wait for perfection. It recognizes the gold that's already there and helps polish it to shine brighter. They've been studying you in ways you don't even realize. They know your coffee order, your favorite song, the way you scrunch your nose when you're thinking hard. They notice when you're having a bad day, even when you're trying to hide it. They remember stories you told them months ago because everything about you feels important to them. While you've been questioning your value, they've been taking inventory of your worth and finding it priceless. They see the way you worship God with such pure abandon. They watch how you pray for others even when you're going through your own struggles. They notice how you choose joy even in difficult seasons. These observations aren't happening by accident. God is giving them eyes to see you the way He sees you in their quiet moments. They're probably praying for courage to tell you how they feel. They're asking God to help them be worthy of someone as special as you. They're wondering if they could ever love you the way you deserve to be loved. What breaks my heart is that while they're seeing your true value, you might be hiding from love because you don't think you're worth it. Sister, let me tell you something that will set you free. Their inability to sleep is proof of your worth. Their nervous energy around you is evidence of your impact. Their careful attention to your words is confirmation of your significance. God is using their eyes to show you who you've always been, His beloved daughter, fearfully and wonderfully made, deserving of the purest love. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable and start embracing the reality that you are worth losing sleep over. Number 3, God is using their restless heart to prepare yours. There's a divine orchestration happening that you can't see with your natural eyes. While this person is lying awake thinking about you, God is using their restless heart to prepare yours for what's coming. Every prayer they whisper about you is creating a spiritual atmosphere around your life. Every time they ask God to bless you, protection is being released over your dreams. Every moment they spend wondering how to love you better is actually God, preparing them to be the partner your heart has been crying out for. This isn't just infatuation or a crush. This is intercession in disguise. They're sleepless. Nights are birthing breakthrough in your life in ways you haven't even discovered yet. God is downloading into their heart how to love you specifically. He's showing them your love language before you've even revealed it. He's revealing to them the wounds they'll need to be gentle with. He's preparing them for the seasons you'll walk through together. Every tossing and turning is God teaching them patience for your healing process. Every moment they spend thinking about your future together is heaven planning your destiny as one. But here's what's happening in your heart while they're staying awake. God is making space for love. He's removing the wrong people who were taking up room meant for the right one. He's healing old wounds that would have sabotaged this new beginning. He's building your capacity to receive the kind of love He's been preparing for you. You might have noticed that your heart has been extra tender lately. You might be feeling more hopeful about love even though nothing has changed in your circumstances. You might be having dreams about partnership or feeling excited about your future in ways you haven't in years. That's not coincidence. That's God preparing your heart to say yes when the invitation comes. Their restless nights are creating restless expectation in your spirit. God is using their inability to sleep to wake up dreams in you that have been dormant. He's using their prayers over you to resurrect hopes you thought were dead. He's using their pure intentions toward you to heal your trust in love itself. This preparation isn't just emotional, it's spiritual, mental, and practical. God has been positioning you for this connection in ways you haven't even realized. The job opportunities that came your way, the friendships that ended, the healing you've been walking through, it's all been preparation for the love that's coming. While they've been losing sleep, you've been gaining strength. While they've been praying for courage, you've been receiving confidence. While they've been preparing their heart to love you, God has been preparing your heart to be loved. The timing isn't random, and the connection isn't casual. God has been weaving your stories together long before either of you realized it. Their sleepless nights are proof that divine timing is in motion. The restlessness they feel is the same restlessness God puts in the heart of a shepherd when it's time to find the lost sheep. Except you're not lost your hidden treasure that God has been guarding until the right person developed eyes to see your value. So when you feel that stirring in your own heart, that sense that something beautiful is about to unfold, don't dismiss it as wishful thinking. That's God confirming that the preparation season is coming to an end and the manifestation season is about to begin. Number 4, your prayers have been activating their pursuit. What you don't realize is that every prayer you've prayed about love has been creating a supernatural pull in their heart toward you. When you've cried out to God asking Him to send someone who will cherish you, He heard you. When you've prayed for a partner who will love Him first and love you second, heaven took note. When you've asked for someone who will pray with you and not just play with you, God began preparing their heart for intercession. Every tear you've shed in loneliness has been watering the garden of their affection for you. Every night you've gone to bed single and surrendered your desires to God has been building anticipation in their spirit. Every time you've chosen to trust God's timing instead of settling for less than His best has been increasing their desperation to find you. Your prayers haven't been bouncing off the ceiling, they've been traveling directly into their heart. and creating holy dissatisfaction with anyone who isn't you. They can't explain why other people don't excite them anymore. They can't understand why conversations with others feel shallow and unfulfilling. They don't realize that God has ruined them for everyone else because He's been preparing them specifically for you. Your prayers for a godly partner have been shaping their character. Your requests for someone emotionally healthy have been driving them to therapy and inner healing. Your desire for a man or woman who will lead spiritually has been drawing them closer to their prayer closet. Every standard you've maintained, every boundary you've kept, every compromise you've refused to make has been teaching them how to honor you before they've even met you. This is the mystery of kingdom romance. Faithfulness to God's standards creates a spiritual frequency that only the right person can tune into, while others might call you too picky or too spiritual. This person is being attracted to exactly those qualities that make you different. They're not trying to change you or water down your convictions. They're studying your faith because they want to match your spiritual hunger. They're raising their standards because they see the excellence in yours. They're pursuing God with fresh passion because they realize that loving you well will require divine help. Your prayers have been creating a divine dissatisfaction in their heart with anything less than God's best. Every time you've asked God to prepare your future spouse, He's been answering that prayer through their sleepless nights. Every time you've prayed for your marriage before it exists, God has been building anticipation in their heart for covenant love. Every time you've thanked God in advance for your partner, you've been releasing faith that's drawing them closer to your destiny. They don't know why. They feel so compelled to become a better person. They can't explain why they suddenly care about things that never mattered to them before. They don't understand why they're being drawn to church, to prayer, to purpose with fresh intensity. It's because your prayers have been activating God's call on their life. Your intercession has been awakening them to their identity as your future husband or wife. Your faithfulness to wait for God's best has been inspiring them to become worthy of being God's answer to your prayers. Right now, they're probably praying too. They're asking God to help them become the person someone like you could love. They're praying for courage to approach you in the right way at the right time. They're asking for wisdom to love you the way God designed you to be loved. Your prayers and their prayers are creating a symphony in heaven that's orchestrating your divine connection. This isn't happening by chance. This is the fruit of faithful intercession, meeting divine orchestration. So keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting God's timing. Your prayers haven't been in vain. They've been activating the very pursuit you've been longing for. Number 5, they're fighting internal battles, nothing about, while you're wondering why they haven't made their move yet. They're fighting wars in their mind that you can't see. Every day they wake up determined to tell you how they feel, and every night they go to bed frustrated that fear won again. They rehearse conversations with you in their head, imagining exactly what they'll say and how you might respond. They practice asking you out in the mirror, trying to find words that could possibly capture how they feel about you. But when they see you, something happens. The fear becomes louder than their feelings. They start hearing voices that tell them you're too good for them. They remember past rejections and wonder if they could survive another one from someone who matters this much. They look at you and see everything they want, then look at themselves and question if they have anything valuable to offer. These aren't just surface insecurities. These are deep-rooted lies that the enemy has been planting in their heart for years. Maybe they grew up hearing that they weren't good enough. Maybe past relationships taught them that love always ends in pain. Maybe they've been rejected so many times that their heart has built walls to protect itself. What they don't realize is that every wall they've built to protect their heart is also keeping them from receiving the love you want to give. Every lie they believe about their worth is preventing them from seeing that you might actually choose them. Every fear they entertain about rejection is stealing their courage to discover that you've been hoping they'd notice you too. Right now, they're probably journaling about you, trying to sort through their emotions. They're talking to their closest friends, asking for advice on how to approach you. They're praying and asking God for signs that you might be interested. They're analyzing every interaction you've had, looking for clues that you see them as more than just a friend. When you smiled at them last week, they replayed that moment 100 times. When you asked how their day was going, they wondered if it meant something deeper. When you complimented their shirt, they've worn it 3 times since then, hoping you'd notice again. They're reading meaning into every gesture because they want so desperately to believe that someone like you could have feelings for someone like them. But here's what breaks my heart. While they're fighting these internal battles, you might be interpreting their hesitation as disinterest. You might be thinking that if they really liked you, they would have said something by now. You might be wondering if you're reading too much into the way they look at you. The truth is that their silence isn't evidence of their lack of feelings, it's evidence of how deep their feelings run. They're not being casual about this because nothing about you feels casual to them. They're not rushing because they don't want to mess up their one chance with someone who feels like a gift from God. They're taking time because they want to get this right, not because they're not sure about you. Every internal battle they're fighting is actually proof of how much you mean to them. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be losing sleep. If you weren't special, they wouldn't be this afraid of losing you. If this connection wasn't significant, they wouldn't be fighting so hard to overcome their fears. God is using this season of internal battle to prepare them to love you with the kind of intentionality you deserve. He's teaching them that real love is worth fighting for, even when the fight is against their own insecurities. He's showing them that you're worth the risk, worth the vulnerability, worth the chance of rejection. So be patient with their process, and don't mistake their caution for lack of interest. They're coming for you. They're just making sure they're ready to love you right when they do. Number 6. Your presence brings peace to their chaos. In a world full of noise, drama, and confusion, you have become their sanctuary. They don't just enjoy being around you, they need it. There's something about your presence that brings order to the chaos in their mind. When they've had a stressful day, just thinking about you brings their heart rate down. When anxiety tries to overwhelm them, memories of your peaceful spirit remind them that everything is going to be okay. When the world feels too loud and overwhelming, your gentle nature becomes their safe harbor. This isn't something they can explain or manufacture. It's a supernatural gift that God has given you. Your spirit carries the peace of Christ, and sensitive hearts can feel it the moment you walk into a room. They've noticed that conversations are different when you're part of them. The atmosphere changes when you arrive, becoming lighter and more hopeful. People laugh more freely when you're around because your joy is contagious. Conflicts seem to resolve more easily because your presence brings wisdom and understanding. You probably don't even realize the impact you have, but they've been studying it for months. They've watched you handle difficult situations with grace and wondered how someone so young could be so wise. They've seen you remain calm when others were falling apart and wished they had that kind of inner strength. They've noticed how you speak life into people who were feeling defeated. These observations aren't casual. They're falling in love with the fruit of your relationship with God. They see in you the kind of peace they've been praying for in their own life. They recognize in your spirit the stability they've been seeking in their own heart. They're drawn to your presence because it reminds them of who they want to become. When they imagine their future, they can't help but picture you in it because you represent everything they value about kingdom living. They don't want to change youth. They want to become more like you. They don't want to fix youth. They want you to help heal the broken places in them. They don't want to complete youth. They want to complement the completeness they already see in you. This is why they've been up all night thinking about you. In a world that keeps them on edge, you make them feel at home in relationships that drain their energy. You restore their soul. In conversations that leave them empty, you fill them with hope. They're not just attracted to your beauty, they're addicted to your peace. They're not just interested in dating youth, they're desperate to build a life with someone who carries the presence of God. The way you do every sleepless night is them, processing the reality that they've found what they didn't even know they were looking for. They've dated people who were exciting but exhausting. They've been with partners who were fun but unstable. They've experienced attraction without connection, chemistry without character. But with you, they've discovered something they never experienced before: perfect peace in another person's presence. They're afraid to tell you how they feel because they don't want to disturb the sanctuary you've become for them. They're worried that if they reveal their feelings and you don't reciprocate, they'll lose access to the peace your friendship provides. What they don't realize is that God gave you that peaceful spirit specifically to help heal their anxious heart. Your presence in their life isn't coincidental, it's medicinal. God has been using you to show them what His peace feels like in human form. He's been preparing them to recognize the presence of His Spirit by allowing them to experience it through you. Every moment of peace you've brought to their chaos has been a prophetic preview of the rest and comfort you'll provide as their partner. So don't underestimate the power of your peaceful presence. Don't think you're boring because you're not dramatic. Don't believe you're plain because you're not complicated. Your peace is your superpower. And they've been losing sleep because they've finally found someone who feels like home. Number 7. They see forever when they look at you. When most people look at potential relationships, they're thinking about Saturday night. When this person looks at you, they're envisioning Saturday morning 60 years from now. They're not just wondering what it would be like to date youth. They're imagining what it would be like to build a legacy with you. They see you holding their children, and their heart melts at the thought. They picture you praying over family dinners and know that's the kind of home they want to create. They imagine growing old with you and feeling grateful that they waited for someone worth waiting for. This isn't fantasy, this is the Holy Spirit giving them glimpses of the future God has planned. Every time they close their eyes, they see visions of the life you could build together. They see Sunday mornings in church with your hands intertwined during worship. They see late-night conversations about dreams and purpose that stretch until sunrise. They see quiet moments of prayer together when life gets overwhelming. They see celebrations of victories and comfort during defeats. They see ordinary Tuesdays made extraordinary because they get to do life with you. These aren't just daydreams, these are downloads from heaven about your divine destiny as partners. God has been showing them glimpses of your future together to build their faith for the journey it will take to get there. Every sleepless night is them processing the weight of the calling they feel to love you for life. They're not just thinking about how to ask you out there, thinking about how to build a marriage that honors God. They're not just wondering if you like them, they're praying about whether they're ready to be the spiritual leader your family will need. They're not just planning date ideas, they're planning how to love you through every season life will bring. This is why they seem nervous around you sometimes. This is why they choose their words so carefully when they speak to you. This is why they pay attention to details about you that others might miss. They're not just getting to know you, they're studying you because they sense you're going to be their assignment from God for the rest of their life. They notice your character because they're wondering if it will hold up under the pressure of real life together. They observe how you handle stress because they want to know if you'll be able to weather storms as a team. They watch how you love others because they need to know if their future children will be safe in your care. They study your relationship with God because they understand that your marriage will only be as strong as your individual relationships with Him. Every observation is an investment in the future they see with you. Every moment of wondering is them preparing their heart to love you through every season of life. They're not looking for someone to pass time with. They're looking for someone to build eternity with. And every time they look at you, eternity is what they see. They see growing in grace together through the years. They see serving God's purposes together as one unit. They see leaving a legacy of love that impacts generations. They see becoming the couple other people look to for relationship goals. They see building a marriage that becomes a reflection of Christ's love for the church. This vision is so clear and so compelling that it keeps them awake at night. They're processing the responsibility of being your husband or wife. They're praying for wisdom to love you the way God designed you to be loved. They're asking for strength to be worthy of the future they see when they close their eyes. Their sleepless nights aren't just about attraction, they're about calling. They're not just falling in love with who you are, they're falling in love with who you both could become together. So when they finally find the courage to tell you how they feel, understand that they're not just asking for a chance to date you. They're asking for the opportunity to build forever with someone who makes eternity feel like an adventure instead of just a destination. Number 8. God has been confirming this connection through signs they can't ignore. The supernatural realm has been working overtime to confirm this divine connection, and the signs are too obvious for them to dismiss as coincidence. They've been seeing your name everywhere, on billboards, in conversations, in songs on the radio, at exactly the right moment. They've been hearing messages at church that seem to speak directly to their situation with you. They've been having dreams about you that feel more like visions than simple nighttime fantasies. Every time they pray about you, they feel a peace in their spirit that confirms God's hand is in this. Numbers that are significant to you keep showing up in their daily life in impossible ways. Songs that remind them of you come on at the exact moment they're thinking about you. They run into mutual friends who bring up your name without any prompting. They find themselves in places where you are with a frequency that defies logical explanation. These aren't random occurrences. These are God's fingerprints all over their love story. Heaven is confirming what their heart already knows. You're not just another person they're attracted to. You're the answer to prayers they've been praying for years. You're the missing piece they didn't even know they were searching for. You're the one God has been preparing them to love with everything they have. But here's what's keeping them up at night. They're afraid to trust these signs. They've been disappointed before by connections they thought were divine that turned out to be distractions. They've learned to be cautious about interpreting spiritual signs when their heart is involved. They're scared that they're seeing what they want to see instead of what God is actually showing them. So they ask for more confirmation, and God keeps providing it. They ask for a sign that you might be interested, and you smile at them the next day. They pray for an opportunity to spend time with you, and suddenly you need help with something they're perfectly equipped to assist with. They ask God to show them if this is His will, and your favorite scripture verse appears in their devotional the next morning. Every confirmation makes their feelings stronger, but also makes their fear of rejection more intense. If God is really in this, then it's not just a casual connection, it's a divine assignment with eternal significance. If heaven is orchestrating this love story, then they have a responsibility to handle your heart with sacred care. If this is the relationship God has been preparing them for, then they need to make sure they're ready to love you the way you deserve. The weight of these confirmations is why they've been losing sleep. They're not just processing attraction, they're processing destiny. They're not just wondering if you like them, they're wondering if they're ready to be who God has called them to be in your life. They're not just thinking about asking you out there, thinking about asking God for the grace to love you well for the rest of their lives. Every supernatural sign has been preparing them for the moment when faith becomes sight. Every divine confirmation has been building their courage to step into the love story God has been writing. Every impossible coincidence has been God's way of saying, "This is my daughter, son, I'm entrusting to your care." Right now, they're probably praying for one more sign, one more confirmation that it's time to move from wondering to action. They're asking God to remove their fear and replace it with faith. They're praying for the right words to express feelings that feel too big for human language. They're requesting wisdom to approach you in a way that honors both your heart and God's plan. The confirmations aren't going to stop until they find the courage to act on what God has been showing them. Heaven is tired of watching two people who belong together dance around their destiny because of fear. The signs will keep coming until they realize that God's confirmations aren't meant to make them more comfortable, they're meant to make them more confident. So when they finally approach you, understand that they're not just acting on attraction, they're responding to divine direction. When they tell you how they feel, they're not just sharing emotions, they're stepping into the assignment God has given them. And when you say yes, you won't just be starting a relationship, you'll be partnering with heaven's plan for your love story. Conclusion, beautiful soul. If this message has stirred something in your spirit, it's because God is confirming that these aren't just words, this is your reality. Someone has been losing sleep over you because heaven has been showing them glimpses of your future together. Their restless nights are not a burden, they're a bridge God is building between your hearts. Your worth is not determined by whether someone chooses you. Your worth is so established that someone can't sleep because they're afraid they're not worthy of being chosen by you. Every point we've discussed today is happening right now in someone's heart as they think about you. Your light is haunting their dreams. They see your worth when you can't see it yourself. God is using their restless heart to prepare yours. Your prayers have been activating their pursuit. They're fighting internal battles you know nothing about. Your presence brings peace to their chaos. They see forever when they look at you, and God has been confirming this connection through signs they can't ignore. If this video has blessed you and opened your eyes to the love that's pursuing you, hit that subscribe button right now. Share this message with someone who needs to know they are worth staying awake for.